Let's go with some advanced error handling, how you can automatically solve errors that are appearing. At the top right corner of your screen, you will have the current time. And this is important because we have an endpoint over here, which gets the country areas of our samples data. This is this one. It returns it. And every time the time is after 50 seconds, this will actually fail. This module will actually fail and will return an error code. And if it's below 50 seconds of time, then it will work just fine. This should mimic like real behavior of modules where it fails randomly. It fails because of too many requests or other things. Now let's set this up. There's the URL of this endpoint. You can find that in the description. Then we use the get method. Parse response is turned on. And now we need the advanced settings and evaluate all states as errors except for 200 and 300 codes, because otherwise everything will be green even if it fails. And let's save this and run this once to check the output. Right now it is below 50 seconds, so it outputs perfectly fine and it gives us the area, the country areas. Now let's wait a couple of seconds and try it one more time to see how the failure looks like. We got 45 seconds right now, and now we are at 50. So if I run this one more time now, it will fail and give us a 429 error code, too many requests. How can we solve that? Now, in that case, we know there are too many requests. You have to wait 10 seconds in order to be able to try this call again, and that it should work then. Now, there are multiple ways to use error handlers. If you add the error handler, you get the rollback, break, resume, commit, ignore. And usually for most cases, I would suggest the break error handler. And then you simply keep the settings as is. You try it multiple times, like 3 times to solve it. And then you can set the interval to something lower if you want to, like every 5 minutes, and try to solve that. And it will show one error because you have to turn on incomplete executions in your scenarios. So go to scenario settings and then allow storing of incomplete executions, okay, and save. And then it will work. In that case, it will not work because after 2 minutes, it will be still after 50 seconds and this call will fail. That means we need another solution for this one. Adding an error handler and using the resume. The resume basically will continue with whatever we put in between and then continue as if this module worked. Now we can add in another module, and that will be a sleep module, which you can also find on the tools bar down here. And we set the sleep timer to 10 seconds, because if we start this at 50 seconds, then 10 seconds should be enough that it will not fail again. And now we can simply copy and paste the same module again, try it one more time, and then use the source, the status code. We can also move that one and put that into the resume. So now it will work through this module. If it fails, it will go here, wait for 10 seconds, then retry the exact same module again, and then pass the output data of our retried module back into our original route. So let's assume you want to iterate over the data afterwards. We use the data and then just the data array, and we want to iterate over that. And now we can run this. I will ignore the warnings because I don't mind that this is a transformer. So now it should work fine. So it will just go here. We have our output and we iterate over the array to get out the different country areas. Now it will fail in about 5 seconds. Let's try it one more time. And here it fails, so it failed and went down this route. Now it's waiting for 10 seconds and then we'll retry it. You see now it's not after 50 seconds anymore, and this one will now work. And then it continues with the data, so it goes back, output it as here, the working data, and then we get the same output here again. This is very helpful if you know how long something takes to resolve itself, or if it's too many requests and you just want to wait for a certain amount of seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or something like that, that you can try the call again. Note, if this fails, you could even go further down and just add more error handler paths to it. So I can just add another resume error handler, duplicate my sleep, and then even duplicate this one more time. Now let's organize this once. And then we can resume with this new data. So that means if it would fail 2 times, we can also mimic that. If we say, okay, here, just wait 2 seconds, and then here, wait another, let's say, or let's make it 5 seconds each, 5 seconds. And now we're starting it exactly at 50. I will just pause 1 second and wait for the 30 seconds. All right, let's run this once and see if it fails. It failed. It waits for 5 seconds, then retry again. And maybe it's too slow. Let's see. This one already worked, so let's reduce this time and try it one more time. So 1 second. Okay, so we're now almost at 50 seconds again. I will run this one more time to see, to let it fail. Run once. Now it will fail. It will wait for 1 second, then it will retry and it will fail again, and then it goes down here. So now we're here waiting for a slightly longer time and then retrying it, and this time it will work, and then it will resume with the original scenario over here. That way you can build really complex error handling structures. You can add more paths down here. You can go basically unlimited. You can build a full scenario on this error handling path to solve that error. Now, an alternative would be to use the ignore error handler here, but I don't suggest doing this, because if you use the ignore error handler and it fails, it will simply stop at this position and not continue to the rest of the scenario. And in most cases, you don't want to use that. So the break, resume, and the ignore error handlers are most likely the ones that you are going to use the most. And in that case, the resume error handler is the best solution by far. Let's look at some more HTTP status codes that you might get back. You can also find a link to this page down in the description. And the most common ones are 404 not found. That means that some parameters you have passed or the URL is not correct. Then the 429, this is the one that we just looked at. That means too many requests when you're trying to run too many requests at the same time. And then the receiving end says, hey, you need to slow down. There are too many requests, and you can solve it by using the break error handler, or you can use it by the resume error handler and adding a sleep delay timer in between. For 500 errors, these are server errors, and usually you can solve these by using the break error handler, because the 500 error means it's on their end and they have an issue on their end, and it will be temporary. They are working hard to fix it, and after a while you can use it again. So simply waiting for 5 minutes and then trying it again usually solves these kind of errors.